Introducing the new 2023 All-Star range. The All-Star is that one board quiver that goes in all conditions. So from flat water, open ocean, upwind, downwind, choppy conditions. This is the one board that can handle it all. The Sprint, as we know, is more the flat water dedicated model. So the changes we've made on the new All-Star. First of all, we've pulled in and narrowed the nose outline. So from kind of around here, going through to the nose, we've pulled it in slightly. And that really gave us that speed advantage, particularly in acceleration and overall top speed. We were able to get one board length faster. That's always our goal, is over 50 strokes. Can we get one board length ahead of the previous model? And that really gave us a speed advantage to do that. Because we've narrowed the nose, we had to add some volume to stop the nose from pitching too much, particularly in open ocean conditions. So you'll notice towards the very tip of the board, there's a bit more volume. It's actually a more rounded nose shape. And then on the rail line here, we've just increased a little bit to give you that pop. What you don't want is to have a narrow nose that's diving and getting stuck. Moving further back, we have a new EVA deflector, which really helps just push the water away, and it stops any water coming into the standing area. So you feel much more secure when you're paddling, and you're not going to get lots of water moving around when you're paddling. Then as we get to the midsection, we've increased the rail height, and that really gave two things. It helped, again, stop water coming over into the standing area, particularly when you're going downwind. Often you'll kind of maneuver from left and right, and just having a little bit more of a rail line there helped stop that water coming over. And it also gives you more stability. It's more forgiving when you're rocking from left to right. You've got a higher rail line, so you can move further before the board would want to roll and tip over. So again, it stops water coming in, and it gives you a bit more stability. Another key feature of the All-Star is the new drainage system. We've gone from 4 drainage holes normally out on the rail to 2 drainage holes in the center of the board. So we've reduced the weight, and we've also increased the drainage speed. When we were testing this, we were really surprised because although we have only 2 now, we had 50% faster drainage speed. And so when you're standing on the board now, you have a lot more confidence when you can put your feet all the way out to the rail. Before, you would always be kind of having your toes standing over the drainage holes, and they weren't always that comfortable. But now you can really put your feet all the way to the edge, and you're not going to have that discomfort. And the way that the drainage works is we've got a slight channel that runs down through the middle of the board, and there's a recess around the hole. So the water, when it comes in, it naturally is funneled out through the middle of the board. Towards the tail of the board, it's slightly narrower, not a huge amount. It just helped a little bit again with the speed and the acceleration. So looking at the bottom of the board, we didn't change anything apart from the rocker. So on all of the models, we now have quite a flatter rocker, and that just, obviously a flatter rocker has a longer water line. So particularly on flat water, we felt that speed advantage, a bit like the Sprint. You just get that extra acceleration and overall glide. You're not kind of pitching from nose to tail. Also in chop and downwind, because it's a little bit flatter, you're getting earlier into the bump, and you get a little bit more stability because you're, again, it's not pitching so much. You can kind of really get into the runners and go forwards. In the middle of the board, you'll see the drainage scuppers. These are not the final ones, but we are now having carbon drainage scuppers, which will be recessed into the board. So it's much more flush. You won't see the edge of it. So it's a lot more kind of efficient and less drag. And again, just highlighting on the bottom of the board, you may be able to see it's got a narrower outline, which really gave the speed advantage of the All-Star. This model we have is a 1423 model. We'll now look at the 1420.5. This is the 1420.5, the smallest of the All-Star range. This is a board for the elite riders, lighter riders that really want to kind of have that speed advantage. So the 20.5 has all the changes as a 23. It's a little bit thicker in the standing. So because you're that much narrower, we needed to have a bit higher rails here to give you that stability and stop the water coming in. Here we have the two technologies that are available in the All-Star range. The carbon sandwich, which is the lightest and strongest. This is for serious racers and those that really want to be ahead in the races. This is a PVC bottom, full carbon wrap and PVC standing. Then we also have the wood carbon. Now the wood carbon is a new upgraded layup for 2023. It now has a full biaxial carbon deck and rail, so it wraps the whole deck of the board, meaning that you've got more carbon, more than double the carbon in the board, and it's still at a great weight and value. The difference in weight between the carbon sandwich and the wood carbon is between 1.2 and 1.5 kilos. So with the carbon sandwich, you are getting that lighter, faster acceleration. One other addition on the new All-Star range is the deck pad. So in the standing area here, we have a thinner EVA pad, and it's a different texture. It's the flat corduroy grooving, and it just, because it's thinner, you feel closer and connected to the board, and it feels a bit easier to kind of move and shuffle around on, still having a lot of grip. You'll also see that there's a indicator where to stand, both forwards and behind. So when you're on flat water or you're paddling upwind, we would advise normally to stand further forwards on the board, but when you do go in downwind conditions, then you need to step further back. And so this indicator here shows where we were standing further back and towards the tail. Fins. So we have a new Flash carbon fin. This is a pre-preg carbon fin. It's over 50% lighter than the normal natural winner. It's also a new shape. So this is really it's sold aftermarket, but it's a fin that's going to be giving you that edge and give you that weight reduction. The Armour Core natural winner is still one of our best fins, and it gives you a lot of stiffness and tracking.